3 Points of Articulation podcast.
Howdy, and welcome to Statistically, the top 10 women wrestlers at WrestleMania. I am Adam the Wrestling Man from the 3 Points of Articulation figure podcast. Please check us out on YouTube and your regular podcast provider. How do I mean statistically then? So we've got points allocated for every WrestleMania match that these wrestlers have had. 30 points for a win, 10 points for a loss or a draw, an extra 5 points if they've retained a title, an extra 10 points if they've won a fresh title. We've got a few trumps for if wrestlers have the same amount of points, title wins as your main one, title retentions next, and the number of wins after that. So let's get cracking. In at number 10 with 70 points is Beth Phoenix. She's actually had 5 matches at WrestleMania, but only won one of them at WrestleMania 24. She teamed with Melina to defeat Maria and Ashley. The other 4 matches she's lost: WrestleMania 25 in the Battle Royal, one of the worst matches I've seen at Mania, 26 in the 10 Diva match, 28 she teamed with Eve in a loss to Maria Menounos and Kelly, and most recently 35 in the 4-way women's title tag team match. In at number 9, also with 70 points, but trumping Beth with the number of title wins, is Mickie James. Mickie has had 4 matches at Mania. Her only victory came at WrestleMania 22, where she defeated Trish for the women's title. In my opinion, the best rivalry to have ever happened in the women's division. She lost her other 3 at 25 in the Battle Royal, 26 in the 10 Diva match, and 33 in a 6-way match for the SmackDown women's title. In at number 8 is Chyna, also on 70 points, but trumping Mickie with the number of victories. She won the women's title at WrestleMania 17, where she defeated Ivory, and she also won at WrestleMania 16 in a 6-person match alongside Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty. In at number 7, 5 points in front, with 75 is Melina. 3 matches at Mania. She retained the women's title at WrestleMania 23 against Ashley. She won at WrestleMania 24, teaming with Beth Phoenix against Maria and Ashley. And she lost at WrestleMania 25 in the women's Battle Royal. Number 6 is Tori Wilson. 4 matches, surprisingly, at WrestleMania for Tori, and she's got a 50% record. She won at WrestleMania 20 with Sable against Stacy and Miss Jackie, and at 22 against Candice. She drew at WrestleMania 19 in a pillow fight with Stacy Keibler that went nowhere, and she lost in the WrestleMania 25 Battle Royal. Into the top 5. In at 5th, also with 80 points, is Bayley, trumping Tori with the number of title matches. So Bayley retained the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 33 in a fatal 4-way, retained the SmackDown Women's title at 36 in a fatal 5-way, and she lost at WrestleMania 35 in the 4-way women's tag team match, which was won by the Iconics. A little note here is she tagged with Sasha Banks in that match. Sasha Banks did not make our list. She has a terrible WrestleMania record. Will that continue at the most recent WrestleMania, where she defends against Bianca Belair? In at number 4, a surprising entry and the best undefeated record at WrestleMania for any woman is Sable. Sable has 3 matches at WrestleMania, and she's been victorious in all 3, so she has 95 points. She retained the women's title at WrestleMania 15 against Tori, and she won at WrestleMania 14, teaming with Marvelous Mark Merrow against Goldust and Luna. I think it might have been the artist Goldust at that point. And WrestleMania 20, she teamed with Tori in a victory over Jackie and Stacy. In at number 3 with 105 points is the man, Becky Lynch. 4 matches at WrestleMania for Becky. She won the Raw and SmackDown women's titles in the 3-way dance at WrestleMania 35. She retained the Raw title at WrestleMania 36, and she lost at WrestleMania 32 in a 3-way match for the women's title, and WrestleMania 33 in a 6-way match for the SmackDown women's title. In at number 2 with 125 points is Trish Stratus. 5 matches at Mania for Trish. She won the women's title at WrestleMania 19 in a 3-way match. She retained the women's title at WrestleMania 21 against Christy Hemme. She won a 6-person match, which had Snooki in it, at WrestleMania 27, and her 2 losses have come at WrestleMania 18 in a 3-way match for the women's title, and most memorably, WrestleMania 22 in a loss against Mickie James for the women's title. Which leads us to the drum roll. In at number 1, already the statistically top 1 woman at WrestleMania in history is Charlotte Flair with 135 points. Charlie has had 5 matches at WrestleMania. She has won 2 titles. She won the women's title at WrestleMania 32 in a 3-way match with Becky and Sasha. She won the NXT women's title at WrestleMania 36 against Rhea Ripley. She retained the SmackDown women's title at WrestleMania 34 against Asuka, and her 2 losses have come in multi-person matches. WrestleMania 33 in a 4-way match with Bayley, Sasha and Nia for the Raw women's title, and WrestleMania 35 in a 3-way dance for both titles against Becky and Ronda Rousey. So there we have it. You can't argue, unless you don't like my points system, statistically the top 10 women wrestlers at WrestleMania. Please subscribe if you have enjoyed this video. There'll be another one coming up shortly with the top 10 greatest ever wrestlers at WrestleMania. Obviously, statistically. I am Adam the Wrestling Man from the 3 Points to Articulation Figure Podcast. See you later.